Hey everyone, Brendan here. And in today's video, I want to share with you one of the most impactful, powerful lessons that I've ever learned in my life. And I actually learned this over 15 years ago from the late Bob Proctor. He was teaching me at a mastermind, and he was presenting this content that I'm going to share with you. Now, before I proceed, I need to let you know that this is not my intellectual property. All of it is Bob Proctor's. I just basically learned it and tried to memorize it so much because it's so impactful. In fact, I'm sharing it with you today because just a few hours ago, I was sharing this exact same lesson with one of my clients, how we're trying to reprogram and re-change her paradigms, which are old belief system around her body and her health, and really trying to change the way she thinks in order to change her results. So again, this is Bob Proctor's intellectual property, and I'm just sharing it with you. Now, before we dive into this amazing technological, just paper and magic Sharpie marker, I want to ask you a couple questions. Have you ever wondered why, for example, you've got so many commonalities and similarities from your mom and your dad and your grandma? Or how about you've got many of the same mannerisms or idiosyncrasies or beliefs that your mom or your dad or your grandparents had? Well, these are all fair and legitimate questions. And in fact, Bob Proctor had these same questions many years ago, and he set out a quest to understand these questions. So I've got another question for you. What about people, for example, and levels of success? Have you ever wondered why some people are so successful and they've got all of these degrees and letters across their name on their business card, and yet other people aren't successful? And what about this on the flip side? Some people, they've got all of these degrees and all these letters beside their name, and they're not quite successful and they're not making much money. And that other people who've never maybe even stepped foot inside of a school, they're making millions of dollars and they're doing all of these great things in the world. Why is that? These are all great questions to ask. And this is the same thing with people that are healthy. Why is it some people are healthy and why is it some people are not? Well, I'm going to explain why. And again, these are really important questions that we need to ask ourselves. In fact, one of my other mentors, Dr. John DeMartini, says, the quality of your life is demonstrated by the quality of questions that you ask yourself. So again, I'm going to go into this diagram right now. So just stick with me. Now, I want you to sort of imagine that this right here is your unconscious, and here is your body. Okay? And as I was saying earlier, we have something that we were literally given to us in the womb, right? When we're in our mom's womb. As we are babies and as we're developing, we develop something called a paradigm. So what exactly is a paradigm? Well, a paradigm is a set of sort of built-in thinking, if you will. Sort of a built-in set of habits. Now, as we continue to grow up and develop, we start to sort of detach a little bit from our own paradigms and our dependence or dependencies from our parents, but we also now start to develop a conscious mind, right? And we are also being exposed to so many things on the outside world. And we have the ability to, through our senses, right? So we've got taste, touch, hear, smell, and see. We have the power and the ability to choose. We have the power and the ability to perceive, right? Whether we perceive things as bad or we can perceive things as positives. But here's the thing. Our paradigm, our built-in sort of construct of our beliefs essentially dictates our actions. Right here are our body's actions. And our actions have a direct result on our results. Those are your results, are. So the way we think, the way we perceive things is ultimately based around our paradigm. And what happens is our paradigm then develops or basically translate or dictates our X ideas, right? An X idea. What is an X idea? Well, an X idea might look like money doesn't grow on trees, or we'll never be rich, or you'll never amount to anything. Or, for example, your great-grandfather died of a heart attack, your grandfather died of a heart attack, your father died of a heart attack, and you're probably going to die of a heart attack. These are built-in understandings and paradigms which ultimately lead to X ideas. And then what happens with these X ideas? Again, they get translated down back into habits, which then ultimately act on our actions, but then act on our results. Now, how do you change that? How can you break that? What is a Y idea? Well, a Y idea, first we need to change the way we think. But a Y idea might be, you know what, I'm going to join a gym and I'm going to change the way that I behave. I'm going to give up drinking alcohol. I'm going to stop hanging out with these particular friends because these friends, they've got old sort of behaviors and they're drinking and they're partying and they're not moving me in the direction that I want to. Or if you're listening to the TV all the time, all of these are building in your subconscious. How to change that? You've got to have these Y ideas. So another Y idea might be like, I'm going to invest my money into a curriculum or education so I can break free from these old X thoughts, this old paradigm. And that's ultimately why I developed my program. It is an 8-week course where I've been able to teach individuals how to completely break free from their old paradigms, their old habits, and learn how to create new thinking pathways and new ideas that are basically concurrent to their new goals and their new values and what it is. And most people, they want to improve their health and their wellness. So again, that's why I've created this course. And how do I know that it works? Well, this formula works. This has been tried and tested for so many years. Bob Proctor is successful for a reason. Dr. John Demartini is successful for a reason. I'm successful for this very same reason. And all of my clients are successful for this reason as well, because I'm able to teach them how to break free from that old paradigm and adopt new thinking patterns, ultimately to change their paradigm, which then changes their actions, puts their actions in a good step forward, and ultimately changes their results. So if you found this valuable, I hope you did, brew on it, steep on it. And if you found this valuable, maybe you want to send me a message and maybe I can help you break free from your old paradigms, because it is possible. It absolutely is possible. You can be successful just like so many of us and so many of my students around the world. All right? Gut Whisperer out.